Daily military reports reported. American and Philippines forces on Monday opened one of their most scaled-down annual combat exercises in decades due to the pandemic, and organizers said the drills would remain focused on territorial defense, battling terrorism and humanitarian projects. Philippine Maj. Gen. Edgar Arevalo said the number of American military personnel joining the 11 days of exercises was trimmed from 3,650 to 225, while only 736 Filipino counterparts would participate out of 4,000 as originally planned. Arevalo said all ground exercises except some live fire drills were cancelled to minimize physical engagement. U.S. and Philippine officials hailed the strength of their treaty alliance in an opening ceremony in Manila. They made no mention of their earlier denunciation of Beijing for the swarming of suspected Chinese militia vessels at a Philippine-claimed reef in the disputed South China Sea. Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said the combat drills called Balikatan, Tagalog for shoulder to shoulder, represent a rock-solid commitment to keep our ties ironclad. May this inspire confidence and action from our allies in the region to stand with us in defending our values toward peace and prosperity, Lorenzana said in remarks read by a Defense Department deputy since he was in isolation after contracting COVID-19. American Embassy official John Law said the military drills demonstrate our shared commitment to peace and stability and the adaptability of U.S. and Philippine forces. The United States will continue to seek ways, even during the pandemic, to strengthen our security cooperation, Law said. China has frowned on the drills in the past when some maneuvers were staged on the western coast of the Philippines facing the South China Sea, where it has often accused Washington of intervening in a purely Asian dispute. China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan and Brunei have been locked in long-raging territorial disputes in the busy waterway. The U.S. has no claims in the resource-rich waters, but its warships regularly patrol the region and have occasionally sailed close by Chinese-occupied islands, islets and reefs in so-called freedom of navigation operations to challenge Beijing's vast territorial claims. Washington has declared that the peaceful resolution of the disputes and freedom of navigation and overflight in the region are in its national interest, but China has warned the U.S. from meddling in the region. Lorenzana recently demanded swarms of Chinese vessels he suspects were operated by militias to leave Whitsun Reef, saying the territory lies within an offshore area where the Philippines has exclusive rights to exploit fishing and fuel resources. China has dismissed Lorenzana's demand and insisted that China owns the reef, adding nobody could question the right of Chinese fishermen to gather there to fish or take shelter from rough seas. The U.S. has backed the Philippines amid the dispute and accused China of using maritime militia to intimidate, provoke and threaten other nations, which undermines peace and security in the region. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin discussed the massing of Chinese vessels at Whitsun in a phone call with Lorenzana over the weekend and proposed steps to deepen defense cooperation, U.S. and Philippine officials said. Protocol Jarak Social Sekara Signifikan Memangkas Jumlah Pasukan yang Berpartisipasi Menjadi Hampir Seribu dari Rencana Hampir 8.000 pada tahun-tahun sebelumnya. Semua latihan darat dibatalkan kecuali untuk latihan tembak langsung yang tidak melibatkan tatap muka, kata Mayor Jenderal Edgar Arevalo, Direktur Latihan, dalam pidatonya. Dalam pidato yang dibacakan oleh wakilnya, Menteri Pertahanan Filipina Delfin Lorenzana mengatakan, latihan bersama itu akan memperkuat kemampuan Filipina menangani tantangan keamanan tradisional dan non-tradisional di tengah situasi yang semakin kompleks di wilayah Laut Cina Selatan. Lorenzana dan Menteri Pertahanan as Lloyd Austin mengadakan panggilan telepon pada hari Minggu untuk membahas latihan, situasi di Laut Cina Selatan, dan perkembangan keamanan regional baru-baru ini. Kedua Menteri Pertahanan juga Menegaskan Kembali Pentingnya Visiting Forces Agreement, VFA, Antara Kedua Negara, yang memberikan kerangka hukum di mana pasukan as dapat beroperasi secara bergilir di Filipina. President Filipino Rodrigo Duterte mengatakan Amerika Serikat harus membayar lebih jika ingin mempertahankan VFA, yang dia batalkan secara sepihak tahun lalu sebagai tanggapan as menolak visa sekutu politiknya. Tidak seperti latihan sebelumnya, latihan militer balakatan tahun ini untuk menguji kesiapan militer Filipina dan as dalam menanggapi ancaman, seperti bencana alam dan serangan ekstremis militan, akan diperkesan. Hanya 1.700 tentara, terdiri dari 700 pasukan Amerika Serikat dan 1.000 personel Filipina, yang akan berpartisipasi, tidak seperti latihan sebelumnya yang melibatkan 7.600 tentara. Panglima Angkatan Bersenjata Filipina Letnan Jenderal Cirilito Sobahana mengatakan, Filipina telah memprotes kehadiran kapal-kapal China di dalam zona ekonomi eksklusif mereka di Whitsun Reef di Laut China Selatan. Dan, sudah berulang kali meminta China untuk memindahkan kapal-kapal itu. Namun, para diplomat China mengatakan, kapal-kapal penangkap ikan itu hanya berlindung dari laut yang ganas dan tidak ada milisi di dalamnya. Dalam panggilan telepon pada Minggu dengan Menteri Pertahanan Filipina Delfin Lorenzana, Menteri Pertahanan as Lloyd Austin juga menegaskan kembali pentingnya Visiting Forces Agreement, VFA, antara kedua negara. Lorenzana berkomitmen untuk membahas masalah tersebut dengan Presiden Rodrigo Duterte. Duterte tahun lalu secara sepihak membatalkan VFA yang berusia 2 dekade dalam tanggapan yang marah setelah as menolak visanya. Perjanjian tersebut memberikan kerangka hukum, di mana pasukan as dapat beroperasi secara bergilir di Filipina.
Yeah, finish your 11 o'clock. Watch out.
Go, Pop, go.
Let's go.
Hey, sustain 7, sustain 7. Stay 7.
3, 4, 5.
Here. 12 o'clock.
In.
Can't see anything.